Hello, my delicate flower petals. Today I'm going to talk about some of my favorite affordable makeup brushes. But first, I just really need to get something off my chest because I don't have a lot of free time right now. I just filmed another video and I'm doing this one back to back. So I changed my shirt because I was hoping you wouldn't notice that I just filmed another video. But then I felt like I was being dishonest, so now I'm telling you. I also changed my lip color. Don't judge me! Anyway, let's talk about brushes. I've mentioned a few times that I've been struggling to find some eye makeup brushes, especially that are affordable, that I can recommend. But you guys gave some great recommendations, and I've actually got some different options now that I feel comfortable with and that I really like, and it's just kind of a Mod Podge, and I'm just gonna start talking now. Alright, so first of all, this is the Moda by Royal and Langnickel. I wonder if at some point I'll get better at talking. I don't think so. I think it's only downhill from here. Moda by Royal and Langnickel collection that I got at Walmart, and I really like these. You get a really good selection you can do a lot of different looks with, and they're good quality. My biggest complaint with eyeshadow brushes that are cheaper is that usually, even if they're soft, which it's pretty easy to make a brush that feels soft, they are too big a lot of the time. They don't have a very precise shape, and the biggest thing is that they're not flexible enough. They tend to just be like almost like a buffing brush for your face, but tiny, and I need that flexibility in the bristles in order to be precise, I feel, and to blend well, and so that's kind of my frustration a lot of the time. But these I've actually been pretty impressed with. They do have some flexibility. I will say that after washing them with my like professional disinfectants and alcohol that I use obviously for my kit, they did something that a lot of cheaper brushes do, which is it almost seems like it kind of softens the glue a little bit, and then they're not as soft anymore after that because there's almost like the glue has kind of migrated up a little bit. So that's a little frustrating, but it's not significant, and it probably won't be an issue if you're just using them yourself and washing them with soap and water. It includes this brush, which is like a little kind of tapered blending brush. I love brushes with this shape because they're super versatile. You can use the little tiny point to be more precise around the crease and everything, or you can, you know, add a little more pressure and use the entire brush head. They're one of my favorite shapes. Here's sort of like a bigger, rounder, fluffier, all over color one that I also like for concealer, and on the other side there's a little smudgy bit for, you know, around the lash line, which is pretty cool. The angled brush that they have I think is too rigid to use on the eyes, but it's a good brow brush, so not useless. I like this little pencil point one. It's an awesome spot concealing brush, and you can also use it for, you know, precise eyeshadow placement, so that's dope. And then this is a really cool little angled crease brush, which does it say what it's for? Angle shader. It's for shading angles. Anyway, it works well, like it. It's cool. And I always like when kits include little ones of these because I can never have enough of them because I seem to lose them with great frequency. Oh, and I also like that the spoolie on this end is small. I love small things. Another little kit that I like is this Ecotools Duo Kit. Also very soft and has some good, more precise shapes. They all have this same issue that they're a little bit stiffer than I want them to be, but these are stiffer than the Moda ones, so I maybe like them slightly less, but they still are really good brushes, especially if you're starting out or if you just don't care that much and you want something that works. All of these brushes will work well. I'm just kind of spoiled. So this one has, you know, like a nice rounded shader and then a little smudgy and then a more oval shader and a little angled liner. So this is also a good, like, you can do a lot with these two brushes little set. This is a solid Real Techniques brush that I've used a bunch. It has the same shape as that first brush that I talked about with the little tapered point. It is stiffer for sure than I like for it to be, but I have used it many times because it's there and it works well enough. I'm a great saleswoman, right? I'm like, it's fine. Nah. Okay, so a bunch of you guys talked about these new Wet n Wild brushes, and I'm glad you did because the sight of them kind of makes me want to vomit, and so I definitely wouldn't have picked them up of my own volition. Here's another one. They have pink frosted tips and they're white, which is a peeve of mine because they get stained sometimes. But damn, they're awesome. The eye brush is nice and soft. I wish it was more flexible just in general, with a couple of exceptions. I wish all of the eye brushes were more flexible. This face brush, I'm jumping ahead in line to it because damn, I love it so much. This feels like a crazy expensive brush, and it is super flexible. I'm so happy with it. I love it. That was gross. But yeah, so 2 brushes and thumbs up. So 4 things up For liner and brows, I like to use brushes from like Michael's or Hobby Lobby. That's my favorite place to get them. They have lots of great brushes. They're usually a couple bucks and I need like a billion of them. So it's perfect. These are by the Master's Touch company. Makes sense. Because I am the master of being an idiot. Anyway, I love this one. It's like a tiny little angled brush. And this one is just a nice rounded point. I recommend people go to the store and just pick out a few different pointed ones and angled ones and see what works for you, because people seem to have different preferences and I can't tell you what you like, but you can go buy stuff and then find out. Oh, hello. Who are these sexy triplets? These are brushes from a random online like beauty supply wholesaler called Qosmedix.com, spelled with a Q and an X. I'll put a link in the description, don't worry. They have a bunch of brushes that are like suspiciously cheap, and so one time when I was ordering, you know, mascara wands and stuff, I ordered a bunch of them just to see if they were all trash, and only most of them were trash. This brush is amazing, and I had one for the longest time. I've used it 100 times. I don't know that this is the one. It could be any of these, really. But I had one for a long time, and I've used it so many times, and then I bought 2 more because I was like, I love you. I did check with their customer service, and as far as I know, they are cruelty-free. They're not vegan, it is animal hair, but they're cruelty-free. And I was like, tell me, is it? And they were like, yeah, it is. And so if they're not, then that's on them. But yeah, these are just gorgeous brushes. At some point I'll do a video about natural hair versus synthetic brushes. The distinction is getting more and more blurred as the technology for synthetic hair brushes improves, but generally speaking, natural hair brushes are going to be softer and more flexible and more expensive. But these are natural hair brushes and they're affordable and they're flexible and they're soft and they have this, you know, they're wide like this so you can apply a lot of color on the lid, or you can turn them and use just the, you know, point, and they're amazing and I love them and they're some of my favoriteest brushes in my whole collection of crap. There are a couple other brushes from that collection. I want to say they're all squirrel hair and they all have a black handle, and again, I'll put the links in the box. But this is just it's my favorite fan brush. It's so lovely and soft and it deposits the color really well, and I have no complaints, and it was very cheap. And this is one of my all-time favorite contouring brushes. It's a little angled brush and it's skinny. Ha! I wish 99% of, that's a huge exaggeration, but I wish that a lot of brushes and makeup products in general were smaller so we could be more precise with them. It's super annoying when it's like, oh, here's this contouring brush. And I'm like, okay, but what about that I just want to put a little bit? So yeah, this is like a perfect size. It's got that nice angle so you can just like, floua. This is a Real Techniques brush that I've used to near death. Again, I like things with a tapered point. What? My mom watches my videos. Anyway, I use this for highlighting, contouring, applying blush on people with a small face, which is not a joke, I'm serious. Real Techniques brushes are really good, especially because they're like widely available and they have good prices and good shapes. But pretty much the whole line I wish were a little bit softer, more flexible, but they're still good brushes. So I don't mean to be saying a bad thing because I do like them and I buy them, but it's a good one. I wish it was softer though. Whole story. And I know I just rambled a whole thing about all Real Techniques brushes, but I need to take a nap, so I forgot about this one. And I actually wouldn't change anything about this brush. More and more, I don't use brushes for foundation anymore because I'm just a sponge lady. Oh. Now I'm picturing a lady that's made out of some kind of sponge material. Anyway, I'm a sponge lady. But when I don't use a sponge for whatever reason, this is a great foundation brush that I really, really love. And that's it. That's the end of my statement. Okay, so that's it. Those are some of my favorite cheap brushes that I really like. I know I was not like overly excited about a lot of them, but that's because I really want you guys to understand that like they're great and they're cheap and they will totally work and you will probably like them. I can't guarantee that obviously, but there is a quality gap most of the time between expensive brushes and cheap brushes. Not all things are that way. Expensive makeup doesn't necessarily need to be more expensive than drugstore makeup. That's more of like a marketing issue because the manufacturing processes are similar. Brushes good brushes are more expensive to make than cheap brushes. So these brushes are pretty much not going to hold up as well over time, especially in like my kit where I basically abuse them. And they're just not gonna have the same like precision and flexibility and artistry that an expensive brush has. Now that doesn't mean that all expensive brushes are great, certainly not, but my brushes are just my main tools and so I'm pretty particular about them. But these are all great, and if you aren't on the market to spend a lot of money on one brush, because good brushes are really expensive, then you will get a lot of use out of any of these. I feel comfortable recommending them. So yeah, that's my things that I said about brushes, and I'm done saying it. Cool talk. So I'll see you guys in a couple of days. Comment if you have thoughts, if you've tried any of these, if you have other suggestions for cheap brushes. I would love to hear them. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter at Kiki Makeup. I also just said in my video the other day, you really should follow me on Twitter because that is by far the easiest way for me to stay in touch with you guys. So do those things and I'll see you later. Bye.